Hi guys, I'm back for another Christmas card. Can you believe it? I know, I'm pretty excited about it too. Anyway, so I have a lot of stuff to do with this card, so I'm going to try and not hurry through it, but just get started right away. So I have a piece of paper here, and I've put some washi tape just to kind of hold it there. And I'm going to be using this Tim Holtz stencil. It is the Holiday Knit stencil. And I'm going to tape this down with some washi also. And we're going to be doing a fun technique with some modeling paste by Teresa Collins. I got this at Joann's, and so I know you guys have probably all seen this technique done where you basically just use the modeling paste on the stencil, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. But white on white is not, like, I love white on white, and I want to kind of continue my neutral color palette like I did on my last video, because I just absolutely love neutrals right now. And so I do want to kind of continue it, but I am going to have a little pop of color in there today. It's not going to be completely neutral. And I'm going to go ahead and try and fill this in as best I can. And I am thinning it out quite a bit. Like, I'm not leaving a ton on there for texture. Okay. So I'm just kind of scraping that off. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and take my stencil off carefully. This is such a detailed stencil that I have found that this is the best way to get all the detail to show up, because getting ink in here and all that kind of stuff is pretty hard. And on purpose, I made this paper bigger than I need it, so I'm not worried that this edge does not have all of that stuff on. So I have a scrap piece of paper here, and while this is still wet, I'm going to use my Simon Says Stamp gold embossing powder, and I'm going to sprinkle this on here. I can already see that there's a couple spots in my stencil that I guess bled through or something like that with the modeling paste, but I don't really care. With this, I kind of like that it wouldn't be totally perfect. So I'm dumping this all over the place, and I'm just going to tap off the extra, which is quite a bit, so I'm going to kind of flick it a little bit. Okay, so there that is, and you can kind of see, like, right over here and right over here, it's not perfect, but like I said, I don't mind. So let me just dump this back in my jar real quick. Normally I have Tupperware for my embossing powder, but I didn't have any on hand when I bought this embossing powder, so I'm so clumsy that I don't like to keep it in these little jars, but that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and heat set this off camera because it's really loud. But I want to let you know, if you're doing this technique, it's going to bubble, but that's totally normal. So just because of the embossing paste or modeling paste or whatever you're using. So I'll be right back after I'm done embossing this. Okay, so I'm all back, and you can see that it's nice and shimmery now, plus it has all that dimension that the modeling paste gives. So this works with modeling paste like I have, or embossing paste, or texture paste, whatever you're using. They're pretty much all the same as far, I mean, there's a few differences. I know Jennifer McGuire did a comparison video on texture paste and embossing paste, But modeling paste, I have no idea how it compares to the other two because this is the only one I have. But I like that it's shiny and it has kind of a little more rough texture because of the modeling paste underneath it. So, and the bubbling. But anyways, so there's that panel. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to set that aside. And I have a piece of vellum here that I am going to stamp on also. So this is, I cut this out with my new MFT Jumbo Fishtail Banners die. And I'm going to be using a stamp from Paper Tray Ink. And it's from their Stylish Sentiments Holiday Set. And then I'm using this ink from Hero Arts called Raspberry Jam. I absolutely love this color around the holidays. It's a really pretty purpley red color. Absolutely gorgeous. And normally you'd want to stamp with like a StazOn ink or something like that, or emboss, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and put my sentiment on here. And then I'm going to use a clear embossing ink to just kind of seal it on there because this stuff stays pretty wet. And it would just smear everywhere if I didn't do this part. So I am going to go ahead and use my clear embossing powder and just make sure I get that all over the place. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and heat set that as well. And I will be back again. Okie dokie. So that is all embossed clear to make sure that the color is nice and everything, but that it doesn't smear everywhere. So now we can get on to assembling our cards. So I have a couple other things that I've already done. I have my card base here, which is kind of a tan color. I have a piece of book page paper to layer on that. And then to match this banner, I went ahead and just rubbed the same ink pad over some white paper and then cut little strips to just kind of tie in some more of that color because I absolutely love the color. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I cut down I had made two of these. This is the one that I made on the video, but I already had this one cut down, so I'm going to go ahead and use this one. And I'm just going to use my ATG gun on the very, very edge of this so that I can adhere those raspberry jam strips on here. Okay. And I'm gonna try and get these as even as possible. I'm not usually super great at this, so you have to bear with me here. I'm gonna try and have them be as visible as possible. I want to have a decent sized kind of border on there. I don't want it super duper thin, but not super big either. Okay. Then I'm just gonna go ahead and trim the edges off of those. Okay, just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere my book page paper to my card base. Just like that. And then I'll go ahead and thinking I might pop this up. No, I think I'll go ahead. I think there's enough detail and dimension going on with the other like the embossing and stuff, that I'm just going to go ahead and leave it. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I have some adhesive on that very edge too, so that it stays down. And then this is just going to go, I don't want it totally in the middle. So I'm going to kind of offset it just a little bit to the left. So it's not a whole lot, but it is just a little bit. I think enough to show that it was intentional and not an accident. Hopefully it's enough. Okay, and then this is going to go right on here. And let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and use my glossy accents to adhere the vellum down, and then I'm going to use this little piece of like jute twine to kind of cover that up, because I don't want it to be visible. But with this textured background here that I'm adhering it to, it's kind of tricky to make sure that, you know, that it stays in place, and I think this glossy accents will work well for that. So I'm just going to go ahead, plus this adds a little bit of texture, which is nice because I always love adding different textures than what's already on there, like with the embossing, but it's kind of a more rusticy texture, and it's going to give me fits. I can see. No. Okay, so I'm just going to hold this for a minute, and then I'm going to go ahead and trim it down, I think. I think I might trim it down. Let me see. Where'd my scissors go? There they are. I'm going to let there be a little bit of overhang from it, and I'm not going to adhere that part down. Might adhere it down just a little bit past this right here, but not completely all the way down. Okay, so there's that. So this is kind of free-flowing, which I like. Oops. Not quite ready to bend that. Okay. And then I am going to add, I think I'm going to add some of these white little pearl things, like I added them to my last card in my Christmas card series, and I really liked how they looked. So there's that. And I'm just going to trim off the excess that's down here on the bottom of my card. There's quite a bit of overhang right there. I'm just going to chop that off right there. And I will call it good. So that is card number 2 of my holiday card series. I hope you guys enjoyed, and try this technique out. It's really, really fun to add lots and lots of dimension on that. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.